welcome back. We're doing another Sim Sculpting Sundays. Today we're hopping on very late to the Bridgerton train. Specifically, we are making Daphne Bridgerton from the Bridgerton Netflix series. Now, I actually read one of the Bridgerton books years ago, not realizing it was a series. I actually read a lot of romance novels, which seems to surprise people because they're like, but you read like, this is heavily in quotes, smart people books. I'm just like, no, like, romance novels have their place. They're good. There's nothing wrong with enjoying them. Initially, I started reading them, to be honest, because I had excruciating migraines and there really wasn't a medication that was working for me. And so it helped to have something to focus on, but that was, I didn't have to like pay attention so much, so I could, it was almost a distraction, and I could at least get through the day. Like, this was when I was in school. And so yeah, I read the third one. I thought it was just like a one-off, and then, you know, rumblings on the internet of this Bridgerton series came up, and then I realized, oh, I've read one of these. And of course, you know, I watched the show, and I bought the rest of the books because I'm a completionist, and if I'm gonna read one, I have to read all of them, and I'm very offended that I actually read them out of order, but that's neither here nor there. And so yeah, today we are working on Daphne. I didn't have any preconceived notions about what Daphne should look like based on the fact that I hadn't read the book before I watched the show, so she was pretty heavily inspired by that. That said, I think that my constant complaints of not having full, really good like profile shots of actors where they're not really making an expression or looking up or doing something like that, I think that this was my karmic punishment, because every image of Daphne that I could find that was like a solid grasp on her features where she's not making a face or laughing or just doing something were the profile shots, and I could not find like a straight on shot or even a 3/4 shot where she was not, she does the thing with her mouth, and then she also just like, she's very expressive, which is great, like that's what the character needed, but like in terms of recreating her as a sim, it was incredibly difficult. And I'm like, this is what you get for complaining. This is what you get. This is what you get. The full-on face shot is much more important than the side profile that people might not notice. But that's okay. We did get her worked out. I had a lot of problems with her skin tone at first. I initially was like, she's a Pooklet girl, but I tried a couple other ones. But yeah, Pooklet was the right move. She just has like the right clarity, but also still pink undertones. I've still never found a skin tone set that, like, I'm so happy with the one set that I could just have the one set. There's always like little details that I like about each one that I'm just like, I have to have them all. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. Like the Rensim Pew skin tones, like those dark skin tones are my favorite ever. They're so beautiful. I could have 100 colors of them and be happy. But I don't like the lighter tones because they're just very kind of yellow and a bit sallow. Same thing, but yeah, I don't like that. But then, like Pooklet, I do like their darker skin tones, but at the same time, there's some details that are a bit off. I don't know. I can't even explain why I think they're off. My brain's just like, nah, I don't like those as much. So I don't know. Anyway, her nose gave me fits and starts a little bit, but I think I finally got it a little figured out. Her eyes were actually really challenging as well, because she does... It seems like it's an intentional thing where she does a lot with her eyes in terms of movement and making wider or slanted, like just she does a lot. She does the absolute most. Her face looks very different from shot to shot to shot. And she's super pretty and she's very just delicate and kind of bird-like. But it was just, it was a lot. I'm gonna say right now, I don't intend on making all of the Bridgerton Sims. I had a sim on the roster and I was like, you know what? I want to make something kind of cool. Also, I did not have like a mouth mole. I swear that I used to have one that goes right above the lip. I could not find it. Might have to go on a mini download hunt because I just couldn't find anything. Ended up going with a piece of CC that was made for Yennefer from The Witcher. It's in the wrong spot, but I was like, you know what? This is what I got. This is the only mole that I kind of have that is close to her mouth that also doesn't include a whole bunch of other moles all over her face. Like, I don't know where it went. I don't know where it went. I knew I had it. I knew I had a couple of them. I used to. But, you know, we all do. We do like a small CC purge, not realizing what we're purging. Because as organized as we all try to be, things are chaotic, and my downloads folder is more chaotic than most, because I remember reading something like, your game will load really fast with the less folders that you have, and I was like, what if I just don't have barely any folders and I just chuck everything into maybe 5 folders? Yeah, that was a mistake. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Love yourself. Just don't. It's disorganized. It's chaotic. Who only knows what's in there? Yeah, you can see the little mole. It's by your mouth. It's as close as I'm gonna get. I'm sorry. So now comes the fun part of me trying to use Hollywood edited glamour type shots of her on a runway to figure out her side profile, or not her side profile, her 3/4 profile, and to tighten up the details in the front on like image of her. I do really like this sim though. She might be a candidate to be in my MCC challenge that I'm planning on starting. That I was planning on starting in October, but it might be longer than that. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Like, I wanted to, it's actually creating a limited CC folder is much harder than I expected, especially with the defaults. I thought defaults would be the easiest thing, but a lot of defaults are broken. I forgot that the original game is kind of broken a little bit. And so I'm like, do I want to just try my own, or do I just want to hide all the original clothes and just download a set of clothes? Because it's a lot of clothing. I don't know. I'm rethinking my strategy for that, but it is planned. I just haven't started like creating sims or anything. I'm going to use all of my Sim Sculpting Sunday sims, and also a lot of these tutor sims that I made a long time ago. I'm also going to make sure that I start putting things up for download. It's been a hot minute since I remembered to do those things, but it's because Body Shop is difficult for me. But that's going to be one of my next bigger projects, is going through and making sure everything that I've created is available, because why am I creating it if not for sharing? Yeah, I had the worst time with her hair. I hate the baby bangs. That's like the one thing that I could not stand. It's accurate-ish, but I mean, I'm not gonna gripe about the hair, but like, yeah, the baby bangs I hated, and I didn't have anything like that, and I knew I didn't, and so I was like struggling with myself with like, am I gonna ignore the baby bangs? Am I gonna try to give her bangs? What am I gonna do? There was the one. Well, there was a couple times where her hair was down, but there was one where it was like, I think it was a dream sequence. It's been a while since I watched the first season, where like her hair was down these heavy ringlet things and like half up, which is not, no, but yeah. Ultimately, I did find an updo. I believe that it's alright. It's not perfect, but it was the best that I was gonna get. I'm trying to remember what, I think it's an old hair. It's an old Peggy hair with like a heavy fringe. I literally just made this sim yesterday, and already my brain's like, I don't remember. Oh, I guess it's that one. That's a Helga hair, I think. I don't know. Anyways, so we're going to put her in Bridgerton blue, and that's pretty much it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this sim creation. If you guys have read the Bridgerton books, what do you think about them? What did you think about the series? And yeah, definitely give this video a like if you enjoyed watching it as well. It does really help me out, and I will see you in the next one.